Here's an experiment for you. Take passionate experts in human resource technology. Invite cross-industry experts from inside and outside HR. Mix in what's happening in people analytics today. Give them the technology to connect. Hit record. Pour their discussions into a beaker. Mix thoroughly. And voila, you get the HR Data Labs podcast, where we explore the impact of data and analytics to your business. We may get passionate and even irreverent, but count on each episode challenging and enhancing your understanding of the way people data can be used to solve real-world problems. Now, here's your host, David Turetsky.
Hello and welcome to the HR Data Labs podcast. I'm your host, David Turetsky. Like always, we try and find fascinating people inside and outside the world of HR to tell you what's going on with the latest and greatest in HR data, analytics, technology, and process. As we've been doing over the last few days, we were recording at the 2022 HR Technology Conference in beautiful Mandalay Bay Convention Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. Today, we have with me my friend, new friend, Maya Huber from TaTiO.io. She is the co-founder and CEO. Maya, welcome.
Thank you so much, David. I'm so excited to be here.
And we're excited to have you. Give us a little bit about who TaTiO.io is and what you do with them.
Okay, so TaTiO connects companies and job seekers based on competencies alone.
Okay.
So basically, we do a reverse engineering of the recruiting process, and instead of sourcing, interviewing, assessing people, we are sourcing and assessing people first. Based on their competencies.
Right.
So recruiters will do what they love to do, is interview people, but only relevant ones.
Right. So you're really basically bringing the right people to an opportunity to the recruiter so they don't actually have to sort everything out first. Yes.
So, of course, it's creating a more efficient process, but it's not just about that. You probably know, and your audience probably know, the population of untapped people in this workforce is massive.
Right.
Estimated at 27 million every year. Those people are not necessarily come from unprivileged populations or, diversity. It's not that issue. Those are people who have great skills. Most of them are underemployed for a couple of reasons. But one of the reasons is that people are not exposed enough to jobs, what jobs require.
Right. And
the markets keep changing all the time. So if you grow up in a specific environment, this is what you get. So if you're a family of doctors, you learn that.
Yeah.
And I think COVID, but it was before COVID, people right now are changing career rapidly. So it's not linear anymore.
Right.
You can, so many people out here, went through from managing to be Uber drivers, to focus on their art.
Zigzagged. Yeah.
So for me, it's not just about creating a more effective process. Is to bring people that companies never seen before, but also in a way they never seen before. So focusing on data, focusing on competencies.
Right. Excellent. So we're going to be talking a little bit about sourcing and recruiting and competencies and all that great stuff. First, though, what's one fun thing that no one knows about you?
Okay, so not a lot of people know, but actually, I'm an occupational therapist.
You are?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
And so you have an OT background?
Yes.
Wow.
My PhD is a combination of occupational therapy and career development and job analysis. And
job analysis?
Yes, this is my main expertise. Yeah.
Wow. I really want to get one in job analysis. I mean, I love that stuff. For people who know me, I love job evaluation, job analysis.
So for years, I was working in integrating people with disabilities or underrepresented population as an occupational therapy. This is what I did to integrate them at the workforce.
Right.
So after 15 years of doing that, working for the government as well, I got frustrated from two things. First of all, I saw that the market hasn't really changed.
Right.
And second, to be honest, I couldn't work for the government anymore.
That's great.
So I guess this is another fun thing about that.
That is a very honest thing to say. So let's get to the topic. So what we want to try and talk about is how to use competencies and kind of really understand competencies in the world of recruiting and what's new about it, right?
Hey, this is William Tincup, and I'd like to talk to you a little bit about Practitioner Corner podcast. It's a wonderful podcast about the journey, the paths of how practitioners, both HR and TA, kind of go from high school, college, all the way to where they are right now. Some of the things that they've learned, how they've been successful, people that thrive around them, etc. It's a fun podcast. You'll love it. You'll learn from it. Subscribe to it. Thanks.
Yeah. So first of all, I want to explain why I'm talking about competencies, not skills, because there's a movement about skills-based hiring.
Yep.
People talk about it all the time, but most of the solution I see or I saw here in the last decade are focusing around skills, but they ask people about their skills.
Yes.
And when you ask me about my skills, first of all, I can say pretty much everything.
Yes. And they do. And people do.
Absolutely. Yeah. And not because they mean wrong. It's just because, for example, I can tell you I'm extremely creative. Okay. But it depends on the context, right?
Yes.
So I'm bad at art, but I'm creative thinking. So
Right.
it's not just about skills. It's
Right.
the context that matter.
Right.
What we do is we simulate jobs.
So what you're talking about is simulating the environment about the skill so that context being everything, they're actually, I don't want to use the word forced, but they're forced to use that skill in that context so we can test for that specific thing.
Exactly.
And
So
not
it's-
explain it to them, but have them live it.
Exactly. So it's more about performance
Right.
or proven skills
Right.
than skills. So that's why a competencies for me, it's where the market should be. And I think, and again, we talked about people on career change. We are talking about people that do not know enough about jobs. And I must tell you, I'm amazed since I started this journey, how people do not know even about basic jobs, what they should know.
Yes.
I met a week ago a candy factory, and the manager told me, people come over and they're surprised then you need to wrap candy into boxes. And this is a candy factory. And we see it more and more and more. And because there are so many, new opportunities and new career paths for people do not know jobs.
Sure.
And also there's always that gap between, am I qualified? Am I overqualified? One of my best friends worked at the TV industry, a producer, for 20 years. COVID came, and she said, okay, I can work in TV. They were closing TV shows and projects. Right. She said, okay, I will be a secretary. We'll take a year off, just work.
Right.
And she got those answers that she's overqualified for the job. And she needed to explain to cross the gap and to tell them, I know how to manage people. Right. I can operate a lot of, programs or projects at the same time.
Yeah.
I will be an amazing secretary for your office manager.
Right.
And I think this is where the market should be. I always share my story. Again, like I share with you, I'm an OT. I come from HR.
Right.
I wanted a career change. Again, not for working for the government anymore.
Right. Right.
And no one will look at my resume to be a product. So, I created this gig company.
Yeah, there you go.
Just to figure that out. But there's so many people out there like me. And I think when you look at the future of work, it's not about finding new solutions. It's about paradigm change.
One of the things that I've talked to people about at the conference this whole week has been trying to find a way of being able to eliminate the resume.
Oh, God.
To stop putting, frankly, bullshit on a page and having the AI in the recruiting software go, well, it doesn't have the right keywords, so we're going to kick it out, even though that person could be literally the best person in the world for that job. And I've been talking to people about ways in which we could certify that people had these competencies or the skills or whatever it is, or the experience in order to be able to do that job. But we can't prove it. And we certainly can't prove it in the environment that a company is dealing with. I can't simulate that company, right?
Why?
Because that would have to mean...
It's too specific, you mean?
Well, it's specific from a culture perspective or from a process perspective, or what's the word? There are specific steps that just are for this company, even though it might be a job that's rather routine, like driving for Uber or Lyft, right? You could drive for Uber or Lyft, but you have to get certified in each one. You have to do all the right things in each one. So it's not necessarily purely transferable unless you go through the processes in each one. There might be different standard operating procedures.
Yeah. And I understand what you mean.
Okay.
But you see, that's where job analysis have the key. Because when you look at jobs and what the main core task of each and every job, like it could be a driver, but it could be sales guy, it could be whatever, okay, customer care, even a picker in a warehouse, or a manager of a team lead. There are core tasks that repeat themselves, that they are mandatory. So, right, you cannot be a customer care representative if you do not have amazing service orientation skills, right?
People skills, yeah.
People skills, yeah. Or you could not be a good salesperson if you don't have proactive behavior.
Yes.
So I think there's data that there are a couple of companies in this industry hold a deep knowledge about the market that was collected from research and from job analysis and from talking to the clients and reading through the market. And I think we should use this data to create new standards. The data is there.
Are you talking about with the taxonomy of jobs?
Yeah.
Being able to have all of those operating procedures or whatever they are that are assigned to each one of these jobs so that we're basically building a standard taxonomy that everybody can point to and say, this is that job. This is what it does.
Exactly. And be more objective and concrete. When I see those job posts about companies want a team player, motivated employee,
right.
Motivation comes with the job and the context and environment.
And culture.
And culture, exactly. And I believe that we need to bring back power to recruiters to be the ones that are not, that they will deal with the culture fit, with the personal interaction between the manager and that particular employee that is about to onboard.
Sure.
And be more specific about what they're looking in a candidate in an objective way. There's objective that it's not all subjective anymore.
Right.
And I think it's that, but also be open-minded and more creative about, when you meet a person, when I guess when recruiters look at me and my resume with this HR experience, want to be a product, they, instead of thinking it's a mistake, it's probably got her by accident, let's, just leave it. If a manager will look up and say, oh, this is interesting. I wonder why she applied.
Right.
Let's have a talk with her.
But to get to that stage though, Maya, a person has to actually look at your resume. A person has to look at your profile. With where we are today with technology, it's a very rare thing, isn't it? That recruiter is actually getting your resume?
Absolutely. My vision about this market is that we need to stop focusing by automating a broken process and to fix it and to bring it back to, when my parents started work, there was not that so many jobs out there. It was easier to explore jobs, right?
Well, you actually looked in a newspaper typically, or you knew somebody.
Exactly.
It was your family.
Neighbor.
Yeah.
It was all around your neighborhood. Right now, we're global. There's so many opportunities out there. It's tough to learn. And I think a combination of where tech brought us in terms of AI and data-driven technology, and of course, where the future's on that space with this, great promise, and a combination of of the future of work and what career path look today. We have to change the way we recruit, and we have to start with the way we source people.
Sure.
No one anymore wants to be judged based on his resume or application form or his LinkedIn profile.
Right, but that's all they have. I mean, especially if you talk about a resume and the cover letter that they have to put out. I mean, people aren't getting past the resume because of the parsing and those keywords and the AI baloney. If somebody went to my LinkedIn and saw my profile and they said, well, we're hiring for a leader in people analytics, And, I'm not Al Adamson. I didn't write the book on people analytics. I was going to write a book on people analytics. And I've having a podcast on people analytics for 2 years, but never got a chance. And I'm not complaining, by the way. I love what I do, but I've never gotten a chance to actually interview for those jobs. And I don't know why. I've gotten 5 seconds after I've applied. Thank you very much. You have a great resume. You have great background, but we're looking at other candidates. You didn't look at my resume. You didn't look at my background. You don't know me. You didn't even go to my LinkedIn and see who I am.
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss a show by clicking subscribe. This podcast is made possible by Salary.com. Now, back to the show.
So how do you make that shift between the complete automation and AI going 5 seconds in to being really vetted the way things used to be, as I said with another person before, Back to the Future?
Yeah. I think we need to educate the market. This is what we are dealing with a lot. The basic assumption that if you will interview someone based on his competencies and if you will not see even a word from his resume, is really tough for recruiters and managers. Sure. And we still have clients working with us, working with our platform, and then, asking us, can you all send over a resume? No, we will not send over a resume. So
but that's ingrained in them, though, Maya. It's built into their DNA to have that old artifact. It's a badge that people have to wear when they walk into that building.
I think right now, when this situation in the market where, it's a candidate market.
Yes.
And companies across industry are struggling,
yeah.
Hopefully they will have no choice to look at people different because, the companies will need different sources of candidates. So hopefully they will be open to different strategies to source them or to look at them. But yeah, I totally agree. It's really massive change that requires in the market, in the perspective of the market.
So let me ask a different question, though. Is this true of all types of jobs, or is it really focused on the knowledge worker? Because companies are mostly hiring, in the United States at least, mostly hiring more blue-collar jobs, more hourly paid jobs, not as many salaried or professional jobs. I mean, it's a difference of like 2/3, 1/3, or even more dramatic. It's more like probably 70% or more.
For blue-collar
jobs. So how does that fit in a world where if you're testing skills on a blue-collar basis, is it then getting to physical testing, or is it really still about competencies?
Of course, it will be better if we can test, people physical abilities as well, technical skills. But tech is not there, and I think we also need to be really careful with not, complex everything again. Right. Complex. When companies ask me about, again, we work with blue collar, and when they ask me about how will I know if you will be able to carry items or whatever.
Right.
And I'll say, with resume, you don't know as well.
Right. And you also don't want to judge that based on someone's picture or based on, looking at a person.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, we will not, although I want to save the world.
Right.
We need to start. And I think if the first step, if in a year from now, my next HR Tech conference, there will be more companies that are dealing with competencies, I will be happy. Because right now, I don't see that much. I know they are in the market, and hopefully companies will be more and more open to that. For your question, that this perspective is relevant for any job. Of course, that engaging candidate through any type of competencies assessment will be more complex where, with C-level employees.
Yep,
of course.
Sure.
But there are experts in engagement. We'll bring them on,
right?
Connect first, engage first, and we'll make it.
There you go. So let me ask another really stupid question. You might say, well, it is what it is. Competencies change over time.
Right.
And people change over time. So is this something that needs to happen on a rather routine basis? Do you have to keep testing people, or the fact that they're actually doing the jobs and performance evaluation takes care of it? What's the kind of frequency by which people need to continually be assessed and we need to continue to assess the competency platform?
That's a good question. I think that requires deep data analysis.
Yeah.
So I don't want to answer from my sleeve, but I think that we need to keep the old option open for a candidate. So if a candidate will feel they need to do it again to prove something different or to try out something else or to show different competencies, they will do that. But I think it's, we need to cross the bar from talking about, when you cross the bar from talking about words, okay, in resume or application, whatever,
right.
to competencies, it calls for different types of measurement that will be more objective. There are probably dozens of those, if not more.
Sure.
And there are so many people, smart people in this industry, we need to figure it out. But I guess the main issue is that I believe that the current process is not effective anymore.
Oh no, the current process is broken, obviously.
And people are so frustrated by that.
Yeah. They're frustrated and there's nothing they can do about it.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about candidates, and I'm talking about people who've gotten that 5-second email. That, by the way, the form letter, please, I beg of all of you, if you have a recruiting system and you haven't checked to see if that form letter actually fills in the right data, instead of it saying your name when it comes to me, please, God, change that. Hey, are you listening to this and thinking to yourself, man, I wish I could talk to David about this? Well, you're in luck. We have a special offer for listeners of the HR Data Labs podcast. A free half-hour call with me about any of the topics we cover on the podcast or whatever is on your mind. Go to salary.com/HRDL consulting to schedule your free 30-minute call today. Anyway, the one last thing I want to ask you.
Yes.
What's your prediction for 2023? So we're back here next year at HR Tech. You and I are sitting right here, hopefully in more comfortable chairs, and we're having a conversation about where has the market gone in terms of competencies and in terms of how do we get the right people to the recruiter? What do you think has changed in 1 year's time?
I believe we will see more and more companies that want to... You remember I was the beginning of diversity? When it was the first company checking that out? I believe that in a year from now, that's where we're going to be. So that will be the trend that everybody will talk about competency, about skills-based hiring. And I believe that companies will, they will have the knowledge that this is something they need to do, need to learn more about, and they will come here to find solutions.
Do you think there are enough OD professionals in these organizations to be able to withstand that, though? Because you need to have OD people in your team to ensure that they have the right taxonomies, they have the right skill, at least the right assessment.
Of course, it will be helpful, or if you will have OD in each company. But there's the reason. That's the reason why tech is here. They're experts that will develop amazing products based on deep knowledge in the market, and they can do that. So it's like, for me, it's like company buying a CRM or ATS or chatbot. They do not need to do anything. I hope that there will be more solutions out there that will help companies implement competency-based hiring into their hiring process.
So you're saying they don't necessarily need OD people to administer it or to ensure that their competency strategies and competency hierarchies and frameworks are appropriate, because the technology should just bring that along?
Yeah, and TA managers can handle that or, implement that inside their organization or CRHROs. But, out there in the market, it's not just in HR. There are specific solutions that companies or, consultant in the industry hold. They will do that. Like with diversity, I think it's the same thing.
So I guess what I'm asking is, then that's a data play, not just technology. So the technology has the data built in to have all those competency libraries and the taxonomies so that there's less for that administration of that technology in the company. And it basically is then plugging and playing into what should be a better recruiting process.
Exactly. And I believe that, they will hopefully, if you ask me again about next year,
this is next year.
There will be solutions out there using data points like we will have or other solution will have about competencies offering feedback and, insight and competencies do not start only in recruiting or sourcing. It's all around. So it's upskilling, reskilling. There's so much engagement.
Promotion,
of course. So we will have new data points, new expertise, new tech.
But by the way, I want to touch on promotion for a second. Having been a practitioner for a very long time and having been a part of the HRIS team and the compensation team, one of the things that frustrates me about promotion is sometimes promotion is just to get people a different title and make them happy about what they do. That's not promotion. That's just patting them on the back and giving them another word and pissing me off because my job title database is now ruined. What I'm talking about in terms of promotion is you have a position that's open. Just like in the world of recruiting, I now have to create a slate of candidates for it. I have to hire for it. And promotion is basically internal recruiting. And
Absolutely.
We don't treat it as such. I mean, I know there's some, I'm being oversimplifying, but there are companies who get this right. But shouldn't we be doing exactly the same thing as we're doing in opening that requisition out externally to be able to try and find the best person and do the simulation and be able to judge them against those competencies for that next job, for that promotion?
Absolutely. Not only that, why won't we engage our employees in the decision-making of promotion? It will not be just, there's a new title, new salary, good job, guy.
Exactly.
Have a nice day.
Exactly.
It will be, listen, those are the new opportunities that those particular are relevant for now. Maybe the other, a year-long path. What do you think? Where was your competency suitable for? What do you see yourself? What do you like to do? Maybe people want to cross the bar to different position across the organization. I couldn't agree more.
Well, so that's what pay transparency and the new transparency that we're hopefully going to get with legislation saying to people that you need to post salary ranges on requisitions, on job postings. I'm not talking externally. I'm saying that will force internal mobility because people will see the external hire posting and they're going to say, why didn't I get put into that?
Yeah.
And they're going to force it internally. And if you don't, basically what you're going to do is create a mutiny. People are going to be like, screw this. I'm going to leave because you didn't offer me that really cool role that I'm ready for. Like you say, give people the opportunity of giving them career development help inside the organization, give them the choices.
But there's something there that is interesting. I hear from people in this industry that they're afraid or they're worried, I don't know, that when we will start dealing with competencies and be objective all the time, it will be tough for me as a manager to tell me, you know what, David, this opportunity is not for you. But you will say, hey, Maya, I have these competencies. Look, I'm right for the job. I'm right for this new opportunity inside the company.
Right.
And what will I answer you? That I don't like you that much? That you do not fit to my culture? You understand what I mean?
Oh, yeah. But that's the reason why in the past people have been pissed off about subjectivity in management.
I know. But that's the other side of it. And we need to take it into consideration as well.
But then it becomes an objective process. If you have real data, I know.
Oh, God.
It becomes an objective process with real data, with real metrics around it.
This is where it should be. But I guess that, this is a new paradigm. And there is pros and cons. I'm the biggest fan of that. But I hear those voices again. And people are afraid from changes. This market was able, how long ago Leonardo da Vinci invented.
By the way, Leonardo DiCaprio is a modern day Leonardo da Vinci.
Maybe you reinvented the resume. We do not know, but
he's a scientist as well as being an actor. Yeah.
Anyway, now we have another a fan in the crowd.
Right.
But yeah, resumes and application process were invented really long time ago. And on paper. Yeah. And I have kids, and I wish that when they grow up, they will say, oh, resume? Isn't the thing our parents sent through fax?
Yeah.
Are people still using that?
Yeah.
This is why I get up in the morning. And I wish for this future for all of us, because that's where it should be. More objective, more diverse, more open and flexible. And I also think there's the power should go back to the people, to the job seekers. Once you're a job seeker, once you're an employee, most of us did both, life cycle.
Yep.
And we all need to remember that once we hire people or manage people.
Yeah. Empathy. Are you talking about empathy?
Oh, what is?
Empathy, feeling for people?
Yeah. I must tell you a short story, a funny one.
Okay.
We are a small company and we, of course, focus in competency-based hiring. And each and every time one of my managers, for the first time he's hiring, he said, okay, he's publishing an ad. He said, send your resumes. I say, you cannot do that. And I had this conversation with my marketing guy last week. He said, so how will I find people? I said, based on your competencies. Wow. And he's working in a competencies-based company. So this is how tough it is.
Yeah. Maya, by the way, shoemaker's children. And for those of you who don't know what shoemaker's children are, think about people who do something and how they really suck at what they do. It just happens. Companies that do HR stuff are the worst at HR. So, yeah.
It was so funny, really. So, I guess this is the reflection of the market. And this is why I get out every morning. And we have a lot of work to do.
We do. Maya, I look forward to coming back here 2023 at HR Tech and you having a either 20 by 20 booth or a 10 by 20 booth and saying, this is how it's worked out for us. And this is what I see for 2024.
I will take that. Thank you so much.
Or as we say, next year in Tel Aviv.
That would be better. We need to bring HR Tech to Tel Aviv.
Yeah, I'm sure we could do one. Yeah, that would be awesome. Think of that. Yeah, that would be cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. It was absolutely joy.
It was fun for me too. Thank you very much. Take care and stay safe.
That was the HR Data Labs podcast. If you liked the episode, please subscribe. And if you know anyone that might like to hear it, please send it their way. Thank you for joining us this week and stay tuned for our next episode. Stay safe.